As a man, your time, your energy, and above all, your peace of mind. These are your most precious assets in life. Yet far too often, many men unknowingly give these away, sometimes bit by bit, sometimes all at once, to the wrong women. And it's not because they're weak or lacking strength. No, it's because they miss or ignore the early warning signs, those subtle but powerful signals that something isn't right. I'm here today to change that. I want to open your eyes to 5 specific phrases a woman might say, not just offhand remarks or casual comments, but real red flags. These are signals, alarms screaming loud and clear. Get out now. When you hear any of these 5 statements, you must understand one crucial truth. This isn't the time to argue, to explain yourself, or to hope things will get better. It's the moment to act, to protect yourself, to walk away without hesitation. No second chances, no delays, because your well-being depends on it. So buckle up, because this isn't just advice, it's a roadmap to protecting your most valuable resources. Let's jump in. 1. That's just how I am. Take it or leave it. On the surface, this phrase might sound like bold confidence, like she's standing her ground, unapologetically herself, and demanding respect for it. But don't be fooled. Underneath those words lies a much darker message. What she's really saying is this: I have no intention of growing, no desire to change, and no willingness to reflect on how my behavior affects you or the relationship. It's a refusal to be accountable, plain and simple. When a woman tells you this, she's already drawing a hard line in the sand. She's closing the door to any chance of self-improvement, tossing the key so far away that you'll never find it. No matter what happens, no matter what you say, she's made it clear that she won't bend, won't compromise, and won't take any responsibility. Real relationships don't work like that. They require both people to evolve together, to listen, to adapt, and yes, to sometimes admit when they're wrong. That's how trust and respect grow. But if she's unwilling to even consider that, what you have isn't a partnership. It's a survival situation. And here's the truth you need to hear. You weren't born just to survive chaos. You weren't put here on this earth to settle for constant friction and tension. You were born to lead, with strength, with clarity, and with peace in your heart. If the woman you're with can't meet you halfway on growth and accountability, that's a sign. It's a red flag waving wildly, telling you to get out before it drags you into a storm you don't deserve. 2. I always get bored in relationships. At first glance, this might sound like a casual, even playful confession, like she's just being honest about her feelings, maybe even joking a little. But beneath that light tone lies a serious warning. What she's really telling you is that stability, the kind of steady, calm connection that builds trust and safety, doesn't excite her. It doesn't hold her attention. Instead, she craves chaos, drama, the kind of emotional roller coaster that never lets you catch your breath. And here's the harsh truth. Guess who ends up being the fuel for that chaos? You. She'll pick fights over the smallest things, just to spark some kind of fire. She'll test your boundaries, pushing, pulling, seeing how far she can go, because the thrill of conflict is what keeps her interested. Every time you try to be consistent, to show up steadily, and build something real, she'll leave you confused and questioning yourself. A woman who thrives on emotional turbulence will never truly value emotional security. Stability will bore her. Peace will feel like a cage, and your efforts to build a calm, loving relationship will feel like you're trying to hold water in your hands. You're not her entertainment. You're a man with a purpose, with dignity, with needs that deserve respect. And if all she wants is the chaos, the constant drama, then it's time to walk away. Because you deserve more than a storm. You deserve calm seas and a partner who wants to sail with you, not toss you overboard every chance she gets. 3. My friends come first. Always. Now pay close attention, because this one might fly under the radar if you're not looking closely. On the surface, it sounds like she's just emphasizing the importance of friendship. Loyalty, right? That's admirable. But let's break this down. When a woman makes it explicitly clear that her friends come first, no matter what, you need to hear what's actually being said. You will always come second, maybe even third, maybe never at all. This isn't about her having friends. That's healthy. Everyone should have a life outside their relationship. This is about priorities. And if you're already being told that the people she drinks with on weekends or gossips with in group chats will always outrank you, believe her. Because that dynamic is not going to shift over time. It will only intensify. Every disagreement between the two of you, it'll get dissected in her friend group. Every choice you two try to make as a couple, she'll consult her friends first, not you. It's not a partnership at that point. It's a democracy where you don't even get a vote. You'll find yourself in an invisible tug of war, constantly trying to prove your worth, not just to her, but to a crowd of people who aren't even in the relationship. You won't be a man in her life. You'll be a candidate campaigning for attention. A woman who truly respects and values her man doesn't make him compete with her social circle. She makes space for both. She understands balance. She doesn't have to cut off her friends to love you, but she will prioritize the relationship when it counts. If you find yourself fighting for influence in a relationship that should be built on trust, clarity, and teamwork, it's time to let go. You weren't made to be someone's afterthought. 4. All men are the same. At first, she might say it casually, maybe even with a laugh, like it's just a harmless joke or a moment of frustration. But don't let the tone fool you. This statement carries weight, heavy weight, and it reveals far more than she probably realizes. When a woman says all men are the same, she's not just venting, she's showing you her lens, her default setting, her unresolved pain. And here's the truth. You can't build a healthy connection with someone who's already convinced you're guilty before you even speak. This mindset means she's entering the relationship with emotional baggage from her past, and she hasn't unpacked it. You're not starting at zero. You're starting in the negative. In her eyes, you're just another potential disappointment, another betrayal waiting to happen, another man to brace for, not believe in. Let me ask you something. How are you supposed to grow, lead, and love in a space where you're seen as a threat instead of a partner? You could be the most emotionally available, honest, and respectful man alive. But none of that will matter if she's trapped in the belief that all men cheat, lie, or leave. You will constantly be climbing uphill trying to prove that you're different, that you're not like them, that she can finally let her guard down. But a relationship is not supposed to be a courtroom where you're always on trial. It's supposed to be a place of recognition, a space where you're seen, heard, and valued as the individual you are, not as a symbol of someone else's trauma. You deserve that. So if you hear all men are the same, take it as a signal. She's not ready to trust, not ready to love without fear, and definitely not ready to see you, only what she's projecting onto you. And here's the part that's hard for a lot of good men to hear. You cannot heal her wounds for her. That's her journey, not yours to fix, not yours to carry. Your job is to honor your own worth and walk away from any situation where you're treated like a suspect instead of a man. 5. If you really loved me, you would... At first, it might not even sound threatening. It could come across as soft, emotional, maybe even romantic, like she's just expressing her heart. But listen carefully. That phrase, if you really loved me, you would, is rarely about love. It's about leverage. This is emotional manipulation in its most deceptive form. It doesn't come with shouting or threats. It comes with guilt. It comes dressed as closeness. But underneath, it's control. Here's what's really happening. She's setting conditions. She's measuring your love not by how you treat her with respect or support, but by how willing you are to betray yourself. If you really loved me, you'd cancel your plans. If you really love me, you'd give me money you don't have. If you really love me, you'd let go of your values, your friends, your goals, just for me. See it clearly. Love that demands the sacrifice of your peace, your boundaries, or your identity isn't love at all. It's manipulation with a ribbon on it. Because real love doesn't come with ultimatums. Real love shows up in consistency, not compliance. It respects your limits. It cherishes your truth. It builds trust, not guilt. If she's using your love as a weapon against you, if she's turning your desire to be a good man into a tool for control, you've got to recognize it for what it is, a trap. And the moment you start changing who you are just to keep someone else happy, you've already started losing yourself. So when you hear those words, if you really loved me, you would pause. Ask yourself, is this request calling me to grow, or is it asking me to shrink? Because the man you're becoming, the man you're meant to be, doesn't need to prove his love by becoming smaller, poorer, or more exhausted just to be accepted. He walks in truth. He walks in boundaries. And when manipulation knocks, he walks away. Let me be absolutely clear. This isn't about women versus men. This isn't about bitterness or blame. This is about self-respect. Too many men wake up every day feeling drained, disoriented, and defeated. Not because they're not good partners, but because they stayed too long in places that starved their worth. Not because they were weak, but because they didn't recognize the patterns early enough. But now you do. So if you ever hear any of these 5 phrases, don't debate, don't deny your gut, and don't delay your peace. You owe it to yourself to walk away from anything that tries to control, devalue, or silence you. Respect is not optional. The moment it disappears, so should you. And if this message hit home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe now, drop a comment, share your story, and let another man know. He's not crazy, he's not alone, and he's not wrong for wanting peace. Join the tribe. We're building men of clarity, courage, and conviction. And there's a place for you here. See you in the next one.